Hello and welcome to the Bonehead Championship. I'm Ben from the Bonehead Podcast, and this is the Bonehead Championship wrap-up. So we finished, it's done. We played all the games through and it's just been a fantastic time. What this video is going to do is just wrap up a quick season, just kind of this is what happened with the finals, this is what the teams did, but most importantly it's going to go through the whole viewer championship outcome, which has been one of the most fantastic points of this entire series. I've absolutely loved it. Anyway, we'll have a look at the team wrap up first. So if you're watching this video, I'm assuming you've gone back through and watched all 18 games of Blood Bowl. Full 11s, 18 games, full injuries, casualties, SPPs, leveling up. We didn't do anything different with the exception of doing a pick 3 MVP. I mean, it was such good fun. We had 6 teams in this event. We had the Midheim Crawlers, which was our necromantic team. They didn't do so good. They won no games. They drew 3 and lost 2 and had a -4 touchdown differential. So they were out of it going into, I think, round 5. They really didn't get what we expected from a Necro team. Now, Necro teams actually start tough because they got no skills. So they're probably a bit of a kind of a medium burn team. And our Black Mountain Buccaneers was our Black Orc team. And I absolutely flipping loved this team. And I have always got one of their models on my desk, if not 2. I loved them. It was so cool. The team did so well. They won 1 game, drew 2, and lost 2 with a touchdown differential of -5. Now, they were in it right until round 5, which was really exciting because I think they were 2nd place, maybe 3rd place going in for quite a lot of the season. They looked like they were doing really good. They didn't suffer any casualties. They just had and dropped, I think, a couple of losses towards the end of the season, including a really touch and go one to the Marienburg Minotaurs that dropped them out of the final 4. Now, the next 2 teams did phenomenally well. The Marienburg Minotaurs was our nobility team, and again I'd say that nobility and Midheim Crawlers, the nobility and necromantic, slow burn, medium burn. They need to get maybe 6+ games under their belt before they really start humming. The Minotaurs hit the point right. Okay, so game 4, game 5, they kind of started to hit their stride. They had almost a full assistance of players. They're both blitzers, I think, maybe 4 bodyguards and the ogre. It's when they were starting to really brew up and beat out the Bucks to get into the finals, which was really cool. Then the Tube World Tiny Titans, our Snotling team, awesome. Now, very much leaning a little bit on the back of Hackflem, but had a win, had 3 draws and 2 losses overall. This was going into the finals. They were 1-3-1. They'd only lost 1 game with 3 draws from Snotlings. I love them so much. They did such a good job. Hackflem was amazing, but some of the touchdowns and the scoring opportunities by vanilla Snotlings was just fantastic. And there was a couple of games there where they were really in it. That was the first time. Oh, do I spoil that? No, but that they lost in the finals, and that was an excellent game. I think probably my favorite game of the entire season was the Toot World Tiny Titans overtime game. Oh, I did let it slip. It goes into overtime. It's a very exciting match. And then we have the top 2. So Wild Hunters were our Wood Elf team and the Never Bay Nightmares were our Skaven team. And they were both tier 1 teams. And I think we're seeing what the difference is with the tiering of the teams. Tier 1 teams start ready to go and they just get better. Tier 2 teams have got a bit of a slow burn. They start 6 games behind the other teams. The Nightmares, Skaven. I didn't play Skaven a lot this season because I always play Skaven. So it was good to kind of change up a bit and give people the opportunity. When we have coaches come on here, I give them the choice of team because they're giving their time up to play a game for the channel. So I want them to actually enjoy what they're playing. So getting to play against Skaven sometimes was good. And I think I managed to swing a couple of their losses. So I'm happy of beating my own team. But Never Bay Nightmares, 3 wins, and that was including a semi-final game, I think, against the Toot World Tiny Titans. That was a heck of a game. It was a close one, I think. And just, yeah, 3-1-2, not a bad record at all. Skaven did a beautiful job. They had the classic game during the season where everybody dies. All right, this is a Skaven thing. If you're a Skaven coach, do not get too attached. And it was not the build I would normally go for. This was the Rat Ogre 2 Gutter Runner build. I'm a big fan of the 4 gutters. Okay, I am all about scoring with Skaven, and the Rat Ogre kind of demonstrated in the season why I don't lean towards the Roger too much. Sometimes he was awesome, sometimes he was not, and I would much rather have a bench and more movement 9 Edge 4 dudes. Sorry, Edge 2 plus dudes. Oh, retro. Anyway, the Nightmares did a super job and got through and went into the finals, and they were playing against the Wild Hunters, our Wood Elf team, and the Wood Elves bombed out this season. Wood Elves got hurt going into this edition. Into 2020, the Wood Elves got done well. Actually, you know what? I think all the changes that happened to the game made Wood Elves fairer. Okay, Leap is less good, but as you will have seen throughout the season, it's still pretty usable. Okay, there's still a couple of 3+ rolls you can make, a couple of 4+ rolls you can make, but that's much better than 2+ rolls it used to be, so that's really good. And the throwing game for Hunters was all about the thrower being a thrower. The rest of the team could not throw, but it's okay because it gives you that. It just makes it seem fairer. Wood Elves are the ultimate flying team. Like, there's a running team, there's passing teams. Wood Elves just fly. It's amazing. And when it works beautifully. They also had a game where they had like 3 or 4 players out. And I managed to win that one, I think. That was a bit of a fluky match. And I was against the Marienburg Minotaurs, I think. Was it going into maybe round 5? Maybe it was even the semi-final where we had a bunch of dudes out. Anyway, the Wild Hunters crushed it during the season, and I'm not surprised. A lot of that was down to me just pushing my luck far too much, and I love it. I think it's great. The team can bounce back. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's been absolutely brilliant to pilot these 6 teams. One thing I will mention before we move on to looking at the Viewer Championship is I'm so glad we got to run out a whole round with Giants. And it was interesting that the whole round with Giants were draws, right? Really interesting. But having Giant versus Giant combat for one round was so cool. We got to try them out. They were great. They were great fun. And I may or may not have printed an entire Giant team now, just because Blood Bowl needs more Giants. Absolutely love it. Anyway, this was the final standing going into the final. I'm not going to spoil the final result. I'm sure you already know. If you don't, go watch the final. But what I can do now is go through to the ultimate winners of our Viewer Championship competition. So as we went through the series, we flagged up that people who got 20 points or more would win some Bonehead Podcast loot, and we will be sending that out. So this is the Roll of Honor. First place, Papa Z with 27 points. Took over in about 3/4 of the way through and led through. Sam O'Dwyer led it for the first half of the season, finished 24 points. Third place with 22 points, Matt Risby, John Naylor, Joaquin Solis, Lucas Moore and Vaughan Kay. So superb job by all of these coaches. Fourth place, 21 points, Olabayu, 1,000 Hats, BD, David Warner, Blood Bowl Commissioner, X-Blank Flag X and Des Slaven also getting in there. All of you guys, drop us an email at theboneheadcontest@gmail.com. That will make it very easy for us to be able to find you. Let us know who you are from YouTube with your address, and then we can get the Bonehead loot sent out to you. It will be sent out at the end of the month, because that's when I'm doing my postal stuff now to try and make it work. Fifth place also got in there with 20 points. Carl Messenger, Mike V, Daryl McFedrin, Wolfgang Heisel, Brad McClurg, Clive the Kiwi, Stuart Shelley, Gecko 8 and Zephyr Baby also hit it with 20 points, which is just so cool. Absolutely loved doing this Viewer Championship. Okay, so we've looked at the teams, we've looked at our Viewer Championship. All that's left to do now is basically sign off. Now, we've already started working on our Dungeon Bowl one. So we've got 3 games filmed already, and there's going to be 7 games total. We're going to have a preview coming up for you next weekend, I think. Hopefully I'll get time to film that. What we want to know from you now, though, is Viewer Championship, what we could have done better. One thing we've learned is actually making sure that the threshold for points is there early on. Now, we didn't know how many people were going to get it right, because there were 18 games, so it could have been, what, 56 points? So we weren't sure how many we were going to get accurate. We had like 200 plus people guessing on a lot of the videos, which was so cool. So let us know what we can do better next time for the Viewer Championship. When it comes to the Dungeon Bowl series, we're pretty set on the format. We just want to enjoy that and get that out as soon as we can. Then I think we're going to move on to some 7s afterwards. So thank you all so much for being involved. Thank you for participating in the Viewer Championship. And just, I cannot wait to get the next series underway. So thank you very much for everything, for being involved. It's so cool. We're going to have the full Viewer Championship scroll coming up next. But for now, goodbye. Thank you. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to help support the channel even further, please like and subscribe, or come join us on our Patreon. We have early access to content. We get loads of feedback from you guys, and we try and do competitions as much as we can. Or you can get yourself some Bonehead Podcast merch on our Spreadshirt site. So if you want to support a team, especially for the Bonehead Championship, you can pick up a shirt, a mug, things like that. It all helps support the channel, and we really appreciate it. Anyway, links below. Thank you very much. Happy blocking.